Welcome, mortals, to my first episode. Today, I will be giving my in-depth opinion on my very first MMORPG, Fly for Fun, or FlyFF. I first played this game when I was in high school when everyone else was playing RuneScape and other games. To start things off, this game was not bad for a time killer since I wasn't used to anything related to grinding other than Pokemon. First thing I'm going to talk about is the graphics. This game is very pretty to look at if you're into anime and chibi-themed video games. It wasn't bad to view at the time. It is very simple and very colorful. I really like how the effects looked in the game. That's one thing Korean MMORPGs seem to be really good at. Being able to make really cool looking weapon effects. I've always liked games where if you have a magical weapon, it actually looks magical. A lot of the items in the game, including cash shop items, were very pretty to look at. The graphics regarding the animations of magic itself or of special abilities were not that amazing to look at, given the graphical engine is very old at this point, and even back in the day. I really liked how certain items in the game, such as wings, mounts, of course the ultimate weapons, and what have you, they all looked really epic. It actually looked like an ultimate weapon. It gave off an amazing glow, usually some particle effect as well, and it made you look like a total badass. The gameplay is your typical point-and-click tab targeting system. Back when I played, which was around FlyFF version 6, you had to level up skills by continuously using them, whereas today, you just have to level up yourself, and if you get enough skill points, you can level skills at your choosing. Since this is a KMMORPG, the ideal way to play initially would be to run around and AoE mobs. This isn't helpful for people leveling a melee or support class. For a melee class, you are limited to the amount of mobs you can grab before you start to die and fail at kiting until you have a hard enough hitting AoE move. This is even more so encumbering when you have to level from 15 to 60 with weak skills. For support classes, you just have to run around and buff people up while you tag mobs and they kill them for you. It's pretty boring, right? But that's KMMORPGs for you, or at least the ones from 10 plus years ago. A lot of the time, the combat would stagger if you had a lengthy rotation, which got irritating because you wanted to kill tons of monsters, and you couldn't because of the lag or something they never bothered fixing. I like how this game has a skill wheel, so you can have about 6 skills lined up in a chain to make combat easier. As far as content goes, this game doesn't have much of it. You level from 1 to 15 with a basic class, then at 15 pick your first main class, and then level to 60 for a second class, level to 120, and then you can do what is called prestiging to a master level. Prestige is sort of like the Call of Duty prestiging system. In Call of Duty, you would hit the level cap, choose to prestige, go back down to level 1 and lose all of your guns you earned, so you have a brand new badge next to your name. I think you also got a golden gun as well. I think that might be in Modern Warfare 1, I'm not too certain. In Fly for Fun, it's back to level 60, and you have decreased EXP gain, but overall you have increased stats, and you have the letter M next to your name. Once you're back up to level 120, you can get Hero, which does the same thing, but with more stats, and you retain your level. Then the next step is to hit level 130 for the final job change, and then proceed to level 150. When I first played, the game did not have the Forsaken Tower area, which is literally a tower with multiple floors of mobs for farming groups instead of going out in the world looking for them. That was added much later on in the game. It's very KMMORPG-like in terms of grinding and having easier access because they just decided to add in a brand new feature for people to level easier. One thing I did like about the game was the fact that you could fly. It wasn't until many years later that MMORPGs added character flight to their games. Even World of Warcraft started out not having any flying mounts, you just had flying taxis. This game allowed you to purchase with in-game currency broomsticks or flying boards. Cash shop items were anything from better looking or faster brooms and boards to hover bikes and Nimbus clouds. I liked having the freedom to fly wherever I wanted to. I mean, the game is literally called Fly for Fun. One thing I really enjoy about MMORPGs is having access to a multitude of skills. That way you can adapt to any situation in combat. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Star Wars The Old Republic, EverQuest, and even ArcheAge all share this, and so does FlyFF. What I mean by multitude is being able to have more than 10 abilities on your hotbar. It just isn't fun spamming the same moves over and over because the game gives you a limited amount of skills on your hotbar, and a lot of MMORPGs today are trying to do that because they're too lazy to have multiple skills in effect and want you to sit there spamming things. The items in the game are actually pretty cool. One, because they have beautiful effects, as I have mentioned before, and two, because there are a lot of items in the game, period, to build your character the way you want to. This game has a lot of mounts and gear items and upgrades to choose from and find throughout your journey. This was also the first MMORPG where I learned people sell items on the forums for in-game currency, so it would be easier to find a vendor. Speaking of vendors, because this game is so old, this is one of the games that allowed you to AFK and set up your own shop for people to buy from. Games today do not do that at all. Instead, they have an overbearing auction house based system, which in a sense is better because you don't have to keep your machine on all day and night, hoping to make a sale. As far as character customization goes in the game, there wasn't much of it, unless you wanted to buy them from vendors or use real money, such as hair, makeup, special eyes, etc. Crafting in the game is pretty minimal. All I can remember doing is to craft up your ultimate weapon, that's about it. And to get the materials you'd have to go out and farm mobs over and over. The cash shop. I've briefly talked about items before, but I'll go into a little bit more detail about this right now. Essentially, the shop is paid to progress and pay for convenience. You can buy costumes to customize the appearance of your character. You can also buy buff items to give you more EXP gain as you're grinding up, or buff items to help you in combat. The shop also sells storage expansions for your personal bank, an item to allow you to shout for 30 minutes on the server, an item to increase inventory space, and an item permitting you to sell more items as a vendor. The mounts are all seasonal, like most MMORPGs, meaning they don't stay in the shop for very long. So if you need to find that rare mount you've been dying to get, but it just so happened to leave the shop, you can always ask players on the forum if anyone is selling them, or you can just shout in chat. There isn't much to say on story. When I played it for as long as I did, I was just grinding the entire time. You get missions at low levels, and then after that I was taught to just grind. So that being said, there wasn't much effort put into the story at all if nobody was doing it, right? On top of that, after a few quests you get lost and have zero direction where to go even if you wanted to follow a story. Current state of the game is that people still play it religiously. I still follow a page on Facebook and they still hold tournaments on servers around the globe. The winners are typically featured on their Facebook page. The game is currently in its 21st version with around 44,000 players and around 2,500 daily logins.
Ultimately, the final score I have to give for this game after enjoying it for such a short amount of time and many years ago would have to be a 4 out of 10. There's many things to like about the game, which I have stated before, and there are many things to dislike about the game. In the end, it is still a KMMORPG. It's not going to change its makeup. It's going to continue doing what it's been doing for many years because it has a stable player base. So I hope you enjoyed my video. I'm Seger, and stay tuned next time for Phantasy Star Online 2.